Hi, I'm Devin from Careerified. Welcome back to this week's tip. Welcome back to the living room. This week I wanted to chat with you a little bit about the gap year. I think it's a good topic to broach because it's a common mistake that I see parents make, that they force their kids into a post-secondary program because their child is, I don't know, seems directionless, is just kind of sitting around at home, and the parent says, oh, heck no, you're not doing that. And so they march them off to the closest school they can get them into and push them into a program. I think the thought is that it's somehow going to awaken some sort of dormant motivation in the kid and help them figure it out. And consequently for the parent, get the kid out of the house and hopefully not living on your couch when they're 35. The problem with this is it pretty much never works. What I've seen over and over the years is that students will end up in one of two places. So one is they fail out of the program, or they finally give up and drop out of the program before it's complete. And that either means that somebody has sunk in a whole lot of money they can't get back, or you or your kid are in debt now and your child has no credential to be able to go market themselves in the workplace. The other place I see students end up is they finish the program and then they have really difficult time trying to find paid work. And it's simply because they're not interested. They were forced into the program. You picked it for them. And so the challenge that they're having is that every employer takes one glance and goes, this kid doesn't care about working here. It's obvious. It's obvious from their applications. It's obvious in their job interviews if they get to interview stage. So ultimately, your kid probably is going to end up back in the same boat, just a whole lot of time and money later. So what I would suggest you think about is a gap year. The trick here is that a gap year has to be intentional. It has to be purposeful. We're not talking about, oh, I'm just going to go backpack across Europe and something will come to me. No, you need to set parameters. So what I would actually recommend is sit down with your child and figure out a contract between the two of you of the gap year ahead. Make it a year, don't make it longer. But what are the parameters that they need to meet? So do they have to have a paid job? Do they have to be doing volunteer work at least? If they have a paid job, will you be charging them room and board? I would highly recommend that you charge them room and board. How much and how often? Throughout the year, will you require them to do some exploration? So do they have to go to so many open houses at colleges and universities? Or do they have to perform so many informational interviews with business professionals or other professionals? Will you require them to go on so many campus tours? If they are interested in travel abroad, then I would seriously look into a work abroad program. There are programs out there that you can check out. One that I did, yes, I did this, was SWAP, swap.ca. So that's one you can check out where, yes, your kid will be abroad, but in the program, they're required to have a job and have a place to live, and they have to figure that stuff out. So if you think your kid can handle that and they would be interested in it, that's an option too. The point here is to give your kids a space to play. If they're feeling directionless and unmotivated about their career, experience has taught me that it's usually because they're afraid of screwing it up. They're really scared of making the wrong decision. They're watching their friends go off and do stuff and seem really sure about their decisions. And they're going, what's wrong with me? Because I don't know what I want. Research shows that a gap year doesn't necessarily help with career directions, but what it should help boost is a number of things to help your child, I don't know, make more direction for themselves. So when you see students who've taken a gap year, very often they are more organized. They have better time management and personal management skills than the average other person who hasn't done it. They have a greater sense of responsibility. When it comes to their education, when they do finally pursue that next step, they're much more invested in it and they get more out of it as a result. Hopefully over that year, if they're making money and you're charging them, everybody's got cash rolling in. That's always a great bonus. But ultimately what you're trying to do with this is to spur some intrinsic motivation in your child. You're trying to get them to see that they can make decisions, that they can do things that are positive for their own future, and they don't have to rely on you, but you are there to support them for what they need. That's this week's career tip. Think about a gap year. Visit careerified.ca. to make an appointment for coaching. And in the meantime, I'll see you next week. Thanks.